Everyone, welcome. Donald, you need to
Hola, buenas tardes.
silence your microphone on your phone so that I don't hear you interpreting into Vietnamese. Okay.
Okay, got it.
Thank you. And then if anything goes wrong, you can always turn on your microphone and let me know. I'm going to keep an ear to the phone as well. Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. Good afternoon, Mailet. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. Miss Gabby, welcome, welcome.
Me peiné. I combed my hair
I
today.
actually combed my hair today. And you look very pretty.
Ya vi a Carmen. Bueno.
Okay.
Esperamos unos minutos.
Miss Julie, do you want us to wait a few minutes or do you want us to get started? What do you think? How many people do we have? I can't really see. We have 23 persons waiting, 23 participants ready to come in. Do you want to start? Okay, let's go ahead and get started then. Well, some reminders, quick reminders for those of you who are participating in this meeting and you might need help with a second language. We have the option at the bottom of your screen, which states interpretation. So again, we have we have the options of English and Vietnamese for you today. So select the language that you prefer. And once again, another reminder is that during this presentation, you can post any questions or comments in the chat. And eventually we will have some time to answer your questions, your doubts. And if we can't get to your question for the next meeting, we'll definitely have an answer for you. And well, again, welcome everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. And again, welcome to the DELAC meeting. And we're quite happy that you are with us today. And to get us started, we would like to hear from you. We would like for you to tell us how has your experience been with distance learning? We have a couple of minutes to do this exercise. Again, we would like to hear from you, the parents, for you to tell us how your experience with remote learning or distance learning has been. And again, many of you are, many students are at different levels, at different grades. And some of them are probably preschool students. Some of them might be elementary school elementary school students, and then maybe even middle school students. And if, to guide us with this activity, we'll ask Ms. Marina to send us to a, no, again, we're gonna separate in groups so that you can, within your group, can maybe talk amongst yourselves and talk about your experiences, about you know, the things that you've seen, advantages to this distance learning, or any questions that you might have, or any kind of information or your own experience dealing with distance learning and how it has been for you to be at home helping your children with their schooling. So I'll leave Marina to it, and we'll see you guys in a few minutes.
Si necesita ayuda a meterse al cuarto para discutir cómo le ha ido durante el aprendizaje de distancia. Anybody need help getting into the room? Erin, are you joining a room?
I didn't know what the advised protocol would be, Marina. I'm happy either way.
Yes, please feel free to join the room.
Thank you.
Titi's, Brenda, or I'm sorry, not Brenda. Titi's, do you need help? ¿Necesita ayuda? Janeth, Diana.
Hi, Marina. I'm Diana. I'm so sorry, but I cannot talk too much right now.
Okay.
But I can like listen to the whole meeting. So
Okay. If you want to join the group, you can still just listen into the conversation.
okay, cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
Me mandó decir su maestra apenas ahora que nos mandó las grades que
Sí.
necesitaba que él pusiera más atención, más effort en lo que hacía,
Sí.
porque no participaba por lo mismo que se distraía. Y él lo tuve que poner en la cocina apartado de su hermano, porque si los tenía juntos, forget it, no ponían atención.
Sí.
No ponían
Sí,
atención. Y pues sí es difícil, pues, porque por más que uno quiere que ellos se enfoquen en lo que están haciendo, sea lo que sea, con cualquier cosita, ya se distraen.
Sí, la verdad que sí.
Ujú.
Y yo la verdad tengo ahorita en mis notas poder investigar porque el examen que les hicieron hace poquito, que creo que es el SAT, creo. El nivel en el que está mi niño, que ellos lo pusieron, es en segundo grado. Él está en tercero, pero yo lo oigo que pues que lee muy bien todo y pronuncia muy bien todo, así que eso está en mi listita, pero primero voy a ver lo de las meetings y a ver cómo es que les hacen el testing. Y
Ujú.
de hecho no soy la única mamá que se preocupa del nivel en que lo pusieron a él, ¿verdad?
Ujú.
Mi sobrina está en el 10 grado y la pusieron como que leyera en grado de 6 a 7, entonces ya me quedé así un poquito como que voy a investigar a ver un poco más con su maestra, a ver cómo les hacen el testing ahorita.
Sí,
Ujú.
sí es algo de poder preguntar, pues, porque sí está. Y yo el mío lo que tiene es de que su maestra el año pasado ya me había dicho que en su nivel de lectura es muy alto, es más alto de su grado, pero su maestra el año pasado me había dicho que él lo que tenía de que leía muy alto, pero en lo que le fallaba era que la comprensión, o sea, podía leer, pero no comprendía qué era lo que estaba leyendo. O sea, es bueno para leer, pero no comprende realmente qué es lo que está leyendo. Entonces dijo que ahí era donde teníamos que trabajar, pero fue justo cuando pasó lo del COVID, entonces ya no le pudo ayudar.
Sí, es un poquito difícil. No sé qué
Ajá,
opinen
entonces
las
ya
demás,
decía,
pero sí es un poquito
sí,
difícil en lo de leer.
sí.
Bueno, pues ahí le dejo a los demás a ver qué quieren preguntar. No quiero tomarme toda la meeting yo.
Camelia, ¿quiere compartir?
Ya se va a acabar el tiempo, pero bueno. No, a mí, aparte de lo de lectura que estaban, uno de los retos fue también, tengo 3 niñas en edad escolar, entonces pues, ¿dónde las pongo a cada una, no? Ya son 2 de middle school y la de primer grado, y pues fue un poquito difícil, pero pues sí, acoplamos, movimos, compré unos escritorios pequeños y ya esta es la de mi niña pequeña, ya en el que estoy usando ahorita. Pero sí fue un poco difícil, fue un reto que ya me acoplé, ya estamos cada quien en nuestro lugar y pues aquí vamos, estamos bien pues hasta yo donde yo veo un poco, siento que sí van a bajar por todo esto de a distancia. Supongo que es normal que van a bajar de nivel los niños, tanto en lectura, escritura, en todo, ¿no? Pero yo pienso que poniéndonos al día también con ellos y la atención, dedicarles ese tiempo también de que no están 100% en la escuela y poniéndoles los libros en vez de la tele, poniéndoles, pues también nosotros a leer, poniéndole ejemplo y haciendo preguntas, pues como todo, ¿no? Es lo que ayuda en la comprensión para los niños, hacerle las preguntas. Yo también dejo que mi niña lea en Raskits, porque pues yo a veces no puedo hacerle esas preguntas y sé que en Raskits le van a hacer esas preguntas. Lee y luego ella leen y luego contesta preguntas. O siento que eso también le ayuda, pero de todas maneras no hay que quitar el dedo del renglón y estar siempre al día con ellos.
Claro que sí.
De acuerdo.
It's time to return to the main floor. So I'm going to close out the rooms now. Vamos a regresar con todos.
Pues bienvenidos, sé que el tiempo se pasa muy rapidito, espero que hayan podido compartir con las personas que estaban en sus grupos, en sus pequeños grupos, escuchar de diferentes padres cómo ha sido su experiencia. Y pues no sé, Miss Julie, si tenemos solo un minuto para si alguien tiene algo que les resonó y poder compartir aquí rapidito. ¿Cree que tengamos un minuto? Muy bien. ¿Alguien tiene algún de lo que escucharon que les gustaría compartir, que es algo que les quedó muy marcado? Bueno, yo les puedo compartir en nuestro pequeño equipo, pues los
Small group. Some of the parents mentioned that throughout these last few months, they have progressively improved in the way they are handling this distance learning, and that things have progressed for the better. And of course, everyone had to adjust, not only the students, but the parents and the teachers as well. So let's continue then. Our agenda for today. In today's agenda, we'll be talking about new information. Ms. Julie will talk to us about some statistics. And today we have the fortune of having a guest, the person in charge of library services, Ms. Erin Blatt Johnson. Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you for accepting our invitation. And following that, we will be talking about the school reopening. And then afterwards, we'll talk about the Elac Corner, which is the meetings at the local level. We'll talk about this a little bit. Some of us had the opportunity of participating in some of these meetings. And we have some of the Elac leaders here with us who have also participated and will participate in today's meeting. And so again, we will like to give the microphone to Ms. Erin Blatt Johnson so she can talk to us a bit about the huge opportunities that the library has for us. Thank you and welcome.
Muchísimas gracias. Qué placer
Thank
estar
you
aquí
so
con
much.
todos
What a
ustedes.
pleasure to be here with all of you.
Hay una manera de
There is
compartir
a
mi
way to
pantalla
share
porque
my
yo tengo
screen.
la misma
Is there a way to share
eh,
my screen? Because I have the same information,
presentación
the
y
same
podría
presentation,
abrir
and
los
I could
enlaces.
maybe open up the links. Is there a way?
Yes, Miss Erin, you can share your screen.
Okay, yeah,
Thank you. Gracias.
gracias.
Entonces voy a compartir mi
So
pantalla
I'm
con
going to share my
esos
screen
tres
with
enlaces.
these three
Tres
links.
cosas súper
Three
importantes.
super important things
Eh,
to
vamos
know,
a
and
compartir.
let's share.
Un segundo.
Just a
Gracias por
second.
su paciencia.
Thank you so much for your patience.
Okay.
All right.
La primera
Okay,
cosa
the first thing
que
that
quiero decir
that I want to
es
say
que
is that
la biblioteca,
the
la
library,
biblioteca de la escuela, la
the school's
biblioteca
library,
pública,
the
la
public
biblioteca
library,
punto,
and the
es un
library,
recurso
period.
súper
It's
importante
a
para todos ustedes
super
y
important,
para todos
most
sus
important
hijos
resource for
en
all of
la
you and for
vida.
all of your
En la
children in
biblioteca se
life.
puede mejorar
At the
el
library,
inglés,
you can improve your English,
puede
you can
recibir ayuda
get help,
con profesionales
you
en
can get professional help in
cuanto a la
issues
tarea
such
y
as
ayuda,
homework
puede
and
leer
other
libros
assistance.
de
You can read
audio,
books,
libros
you can
electrónicos,
hear audiobooks, you
puede
can read
ver a
electronic
sí
books,
mismo
you can
y
see
a otros por los
yourself
libros,
and
por
others.
las
You can
ventanas
picture
que
how
ofrecen,
people are
por
in
las
other cultures
puertas que
in
ofrecen,
books, because books
por
offer a
los
different window, a
espejos que
different door,
ofrecen,
a mirror
y
sometimes in
también
terms of
la
perspectives.
biblioteca
And
es
also
un
the
lugar
library
donde
is a
podemos
place where we can
descubrir nuestras
discover
pasiones
our passions
y aprender a
and
distinguir
learn to
entre hechos
distinguish
y
or
ficción.
differentiate between fact and fiction.
The library is
So,
super important. It's a super important resource. And I don't know if I should translate what I just said in Spanish or if that's being translated for those that
Everything's being translated for you, Erin, from Spanish to English to Vietnamese. So you
Muy
just stay in
bien.
Spanish lane.
So good. Excellent. Entonces voy a mostrar
Y-
estas tres partes.
very good. So then I'm
hoy
going to show these slides,
van
these three
a
parts
tener
for you, and you'll
tiempo
have time
cuando compartimos estos
when we
enlaces.
share these
Pueden
links.
explorar
You
estos
can explore
recursos
these
y
different
pueden
resources, and you can also
escribirme un mensaje
write
por
me
correo
a
electrónico
message,
por
an
cualquier
email,
ayuda.
or any other
Entonces, la
text
primera
message if
cosa
you need any
que
kind of help.
les muestro
So the
es
first thing that I'll
nuestra
show you
página
is our
en
library page
la red.
in
Es una
the
página
website,
de
our web
nuestros
page.
servicios,
So this is a
nuestra
page
programa
for
del
our
distrito. Aquí se
services,
puede
the services that
encontrar
our
libros
district offers
y reservar
for the library
libros
program.
y
You can find books, you
recoger
can
libros
learn
de su
to pick
propia
up or
escuela, de su
return books
biblioteca
or
de su
put books
propia
on hold
escuela.
from
Y
your school's
pueden
library. You can
contactar
also
a su
contact
escuela, a su
your
biblioteca de la escuela
local
para los
school's
detalles.
library to
También
find out
ahora
any kind
mismo
of information or
tenemos
details.
ferias de libros en
We currently also
estas
have book
4
fairs
escuelas
in all 4
y
schools, in
también
these 4 schools here.
en esta
And
página
also
tenemos
in this page, you'll
información
find
de
information
muchas variedades de cosas. Tenemos
regarding a
programas
huge variety of
este
things. We
viernes
have
y el viernes
different
que
programs.
viene
This Friday
tenemos
and the
enlaces
following
para
Friday,
los
we'll have
2
links to
programas,
the 2 different
uno
programs.
de las escuelas primarias y
One
una
for
de
the
las
elementary schools
escuelas
and the other
intermedias.
one for the
También
intermediate
tenemos
school or middle schools.
información
We will also
de
have information
los
regarding
programas y
the different
todo lo que
programs
ofrecemos.
and all
Y
that those
siempre
programs
me pueden
offer.
escribir para
And you
más
can
información.
always write to me if you need more
Entonces,
information.
voy a mostrarles rápido
I am now going to
cómo
show you very
son
briefly
las
how
páginas
the
de
web
cada
pages are
sección.
what they
la
look like
de
for
las
each
escuelas
section.
primarias y
So
la
I'll
de
start
las
with
escuelas intermedias.
the elementary schools,
Entonces
and then I'll
aquí
continue with
pueden ver
the middle
más
schools. So you
recursos
can
al
see
lado
here
de
on
la
the left hand,
biblioteca,
you see
el
resources
equipo
that are
de
available
todo el
at your
programa,
library, and
y
you also see our
también
team. And you
tengo
can
una
also
biblioteca
see
digital
that
con
I have a
varias
digital
páginas
library with
y
several
también
pages and several options,
recomendaciones y
and also
nuestra
recommendations for books,
información,
and
nuestras
also
cuentas
our
en
accounts,
Instagram, en
information,
Facebook.
and the
Hay
grants
mucho,
and
pero
the
pueden
different
explorar
social platforms like
cuando
Facebook,
tienen
and
más
so much more
tiempo.
to explore when you go on the
También
library's
muestro
website.
la
I can also show
página
you
de las escuelas intermedias
the page for the
que
middle
tiene
schools
otros recursos,
that also
pero
offers many
en
other
cada
resources.
escuela
But
pueden
at each school,
reservar
you
libros
can
y
reserve
también
books or hold a book. You can
recoger los
also
libros en
find the book,
cada
and you can also go and pick up
escuela.
the books
Solo
at
tienen
each
que
school.
contactar
Again, all
a
you have to do is
la
contact
escuela y a la biblioteca para los
the school's
detalles.
library
Muchos
for
recursos
further
por aquí
details,
otra
or the school
vez.
itself.
Y
And again, on the left
también
side, many resources, and again, a fair,
unos
a school,
recursos
a
más
book fair, and more
maduros, más para los
resources,
mayores
a little
en
more mature for
esta
older
biblioteca digital.
students.
Y
Again,
también
within our
tenemos
digital
un
library,
montón
and we
de
also have a
libros
bunch of books,
electrónicos, de audio,
electronic books,
libros
ebooks,
digitales. Y
audiobooks,
si
and digital
necesitan
books. And
ayuda
yes, the
con
same
lo
way,
que
if you
sea
need help with any
relacionado
issue that
con la
is
biblioteca,
related to
me pueden contactar.
the library, you can contact me.
Y
And
la siguiente cosa que voy a mostrarles es la biblioteca pública.
so the next thing I want to share with you is the
Pueden
public
llegar
library,
a esta
Lawndale
página
Public Library.
principal
You can also go to our main
de
page, our website,
nuestras páginas en la red de
and then you can
LESD.
go from there to the Lawndale Public
Entonces,
Library. You'll find
a
the link
la
in our
biblioteca pública
district's
de
webpage.
Lawndale.
And that'll take you
Pero
directly
hay
to the Lawndale Public
muchas
Library.
bibliotecas del
But there are
condado
so
de
many other
Los
libraries
Ángeles,
within the LA
pero la
County
más
that you can access.
cerca
But the one that's closest to
es
you
Lawndale,
is
cuando
the Lawndale Public
cuando estamos
Library.
hablando de
So
LESD.
when we're talking
Entonces,
about
la biblioteca está cerrada, pero
LAC,
está
so the
abierta
library at
si
the moment is
quieren
closed.
reservar libros
But
y
it is
recoger
open
libros.
if you want to drop
Y
off
muy
or reserve and
pronto,
pick up books.
cada
And soon
alumno
enough,
en las
each
escuelas
student
intermedias
in the
van a
middle
recibir
schools
su
will be
propia
receiving their
tarjeta
own
digital, número
digital library
y
card
un código
with a
PIN
number and a
para
pin,
reservar libros
so they can reserve
y
books
agarrar libros
and pick
en
up books.
Lawndale o en otra
Either-
biblioteca cerca.
Either a
Y
Lawndale or another library that's close
además,
to you.
podemos un montón de recursos gratis
And also,
que
we
se
have a
puede
bunch of
usar
resources,
si ya
free
tienen
resources that you
una
can
tarjeta de
utilize.
la biblioteca,
If you
ya
already
pueden
have a digital
empezar de
library
usar
card, you can
estos
immediately
recursos
begin to
digitales.
use those digital
Y
resources.
si
And
no
also,
tienen
if you
una
don't
tarjeta,
have
si
a digital
nadie
library,
tiene
if no
una
one
tarjeta en
has
la
a
familia,
digital library in your
puede
family,
recibir
then you
una
can get
digital
one
aquí
here by clicking
y
here,
compartir
and then
la
share
tarjeta
that
mientras
digital
esperan
library card with
las que
everybody in
van
your
a
family
recibir
while you
los
wait for the
hijos, los
individual library
alumnos.
cards when you finally
Entonces,
apply for a
esta
digital
biblioteca
library card.
digital
So again,
tiene de
this
todo.
digital library
Se
has a
puede
little bit of
aprender
everything. You can
idiomas
learn
como inglés,
so much like
puede
English,
escuchar a
you can
música,
listen to
puede
music,
ver películas,
you can watch
tiene
movies.
de todo.
It has so much of everything.
Entonces, el recurso, la aplicación más
So the resource,
importante,
but the
creo,
most important application or
es
resource that I want to share with you, I think,
BrainFuse.
it's BrainFuse.
Una aplicación
So this
que
is an
tiene
application
tutores
that has
profesionales
tutoring,
en
professional
vivo
tutors,
cada día
and
entre las
online
12
each day
hasta las 10.
between
Y
12
tiene toda la
to 10.
información aquí.
So from 12 noon to 10
Cada
p.m. And it has
alumno,
all the
entre
information that
los
you need here.
menores
Any,
hasta
all,
los adultos
every
puede recibir
student from
ayuda cada día
preschoolers to
en
adult
español
students, you
o
can
inglés
get help
gratis
every day in Spanish or
de
English,
las 12
free of
hasta las
charge,
10.
from 12
Y
noon to 10 p.m.
aquí
And
es donde
here
se entra
is where you
en
go in,
BrainFuse.
and to brain
Solo
fuse.
tiene que tener
All you
una
need
tarjeta
is a library,
con
digital
su
library
número y
card
su código
with
PIN
again, a
para
number
ayuda.
for the number
Es
of your
muestra
library
una
card,
página en
library card,
español,
and a
también
PIN.
existe en inglés
So
aquí en la
again, you
esquina.
can get some help. If you need some help in
Vamos
Spanish,
a
you can get it in
ver
Spanish. You can also get it
esta
in
página
English. And
principal
so
de Brain
again,
Fuse.
we're going to access now this main
En
page
esta
for Brain Fuse.
aplicación, cada
And this
día
is
pueden recibir ayuda en
application
vivo de
where
tutores
you can every day
profesionales.
get help
Cada nivel,
from professional
cada
tutors for
sujeto,
every
cada tema.
level, for every
También,
subject, for
si
every topic.
necesitan ayuda con
Also, if you need
escribir,
help with the
trabajos de
writing, so
investigación,
again, research
también
work,
tienen exámenes
writing
de
work,
práctica,
they also have
tienen
practice exams.
tarjetas de estudiar,
They also have
también
flashcards.
tienen ayuda con idiomas
They also
y
can
también
provide help with different
ayuda en
languages.
vivo en
And they also
español
have live
y
help in
en
Spanish
inglés.
and English.
Pueden ver que
You can
también
see that
tienen
they also have
recursos en buscar empleo.
research
Voy a parar
resources in
en
Playoff. So I'm going to stop
compartir
sharing my
a ver
screen
si hay preguntas y si
to
no,
see if there are questions. And if there are no
voy
questions,
a poner mi dirección.
I'm going to
en
then
chat.
include my address in the chat.
Muchísimas gracias.
Thank you so much.
Gracias, Ms. Black Johnson.
Thank you, Ms. Blanche Johnson. Just a quick question for you. I think that some of the other parents who were very quick and that are very good with technology already asked. And I think that the question was already answered, but I'm going to ask you the question directly anyways. What is the link or the website where they can reserve books? Because I think that the one
Sí.
that they had doesn't work, but another parent
Sí,
already answered that
entonces,
question.
si puedo
So
compartir
yes,
otra
if
vez,
I can
voy a
share
mostrar
again
un
the
video
screen,
que hice
I'm going to
en
show you a video
cuanto
that I
a
produced.
saber cómo hacer una reserva y si no
That teaches you how
funcione,
to
favor de
reserve a
escribirme un
book.
mensaje porque
And
yo
if it doesn't
trabajo
work,
con
please
cada
send
escuela,
me
con
a
cada
message because I
biblioteca
work
y
with every
puede
school
ser que
and each
haya un
school's
problema con
library. And
alguna
it could be
cuenta
that there might
o
be
algo.
a problem with a
Quizás
particular account
sea
or
eso.
something of that
Entonces
sort.
voy a
And that
mostrar
might
los
be the
dos
problem that people are running into.
sitios,
So again, I'm going to
las
show both
dos
websites, both
partes de
both
la
parts
página
of
donde
the
puede
webpage
recibir
where
esta
you can
información.
receive
Entonces,
this information.
comparto
Okay, so let me share
aquí.
my screen once
Y
again, and then I'll go ahead
Si
and show you the
van
video.
a
And if you go to
nuestra
our
página
our
de
page,
la biblioteca
our library
en la
page
red,
on the website, here we go. And
estos
then
dos
right here,
recursos.
these two resources right here that I'm
Learn to
highlighting, these
place
two
library books on
buttons,
hold.
these two links. So find
Saber
a book is the first one. The
aprender,
second one is
reservar
learn to place a
libros.
library book
Es
on
un
hold.
video
So there is a video
en
here
inglés
in
y
English, and if you need
si necesitan ayuda en español,
if you need
puedo
help in Spanish,
ayudar.
I can help you.
Y si no
And
funciona,
if it doesn't work,
puedo ayudar.
if what it
Y
gives you in this video doesn't
después
work, I can help you as well. And then
van a
you can go to,
tratar de seguir esos pasos,
you can try to follow
en
these steps right here for
su
each one of the schools
sistema
in your
de
system
circulación en cada escuela.
for each school.
Entonces, si tienen
So
problemas o
if
si
you have
algo no
any
funciona,
problem or if something
pueden
doesn't work,
contactarme
you
por
can
correo
contact me
electrónico
via
aquí
email
siempre en esta página
in this
del
page right
programa de
here.
la
You can
biblioteca.
always right
Y
here click on
también
the email right
ahora
here
mismo
at the Public
pongo
Library
mi
website. And
dirección
right
en
now, I'm
chat,
also going to include
porque
my
quizás
email
hay un
address on
problema
chat
con
because
una
perhaps
cuenta
there is
particular o
a
un paso
problem with a
particular
particular
y quiero
account
ayudar
or maybe a
a
particular
todos que
step that is
necesitan
not being followed on the
ayuda.
website. And then if you email me directly, I can give you the help you need. Oh, thank you for Christy and Christopher. I think that this answers your question. Okay. And I am so grateful, Miss Erin. Blanche Johnson, I'm sorry. Thank you so much for visiting with us. Thank you for all the information you shared with us. And thank you for sharing your email address as well. We hope that if anyone has any questions, they can contact you directly. And well, so continuing with our meeting, so now Ms. Julie Kane will talk to us about the English Learners Progress Report. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. So I'll speak a little bit about the report of English Learners Progress. At this moment, we'll begin with a bit of information about who our English learners are in our district, how many of them are. So, so in this graph, you can see the number of children who are English learners in each school and also at the district level as a total. So one thing that I want to share with DACA that has to do with DACA is most importantly to know that they in which DACA was captured, because the date is important, is October the 7th, because each year we use the first Wednesday of October to count our children across the state. Okay, so that these are today's numbers. Again, as you can see, this is a total of the October the 7th. As of October the 7th, and these numbers change continuously. So for instance, in the English learners column, the October the 7th, we hadn't started the initial LPAC for children, kids that were coming to us for the first time. So we'll see that the number of English learners grows throughout the year. Okay, so what are the languages that our children speak across our school district? As you can see, our district is very diverse. Not only do we have Spanish speakers in our district, look at all these languages that our children speak in our schools. As you can see, the second most common is Vietnamita. It's Vietnamese language, and that is the reason why this year we started providing interpreting services in Vietnamese as well. And so I think we want more Vietnamese parents to participate of our meetings. In a perfect world, we could provide for every single language, but at this moment, we can only provide the most common ones. But we are definitely growing each year. So this page shows you the progress that the English learner students have achieved at Lawndale. And then we have the same progress for kids at the state level. And again, we present this to you as a point of comparison to show you that the Lawndale students have progressed much faster in the English mastery of English than across the state. As you can see, we have a 56.3% that are making progress towards English language proficiency. And again, that is to say that this percentage of children are moving up a level each year. Again, we have 4 levels, 1, 2, 3, 4. We want to see each year that children progress and get closer to the level 4. As you can see, in the state of California, a 48.3% of students were making progress towards English language proficiency. And so we are extremely proud that our children are progressing at a much faster pace than the state. Are we done? No, of course not. We want for everyone to progress even faster than that. But more than anything, we are working quite well in this English learning progress for our students. And again, this graphic is a comparison of Lawndale students and statewide students, English learners across the state in the English language arts. Again, this is their development throughout time. As you can see, at the left, at the very left, you have the state level, and then next to that, you have the LA County level, and then all the way to the right, you have the Lawndale students. And again, beginning in 2014, 2015, all the way up to 2018, 19. And you can see the growth that the English learners have produced. And you can see that the Lawndale students are working at a much higher level than the kids at the county level or the state level. The story is similar in math. Lawndale students are progressing and working and developing at a much higher level than the other points of comparison across the state or the county. We also want to continue observing this progress. We want our students to work even at a higher, much higher level. But in comparison to the state and the county, our students are progressing quite well. This graph, it has more to do with the reclassification of English learners. I think there are a lot of numbers here, and it might seem a little confusing, but you can see a comparison between 2017, 2018, and 2018, 2019. So again, we're still computing the numbers for 1920, but as you know, this was quite a different year. So the data that we have to reclassify students was quite difficult to find because in 2020, 1920, we didn't have the ASVAC or the LPAC in the spring for our students, which set the criteria for reclassification. But you can see that the number of children who reclassified at each school in general education, and there's also a path for students who are there's different groups like special education students. They also have a way to reclassify, which is a change that was implemented as of last year. In 2018, 17, 18, excuse me, that no one classified in the alternate column. But in 2018 and 19, you can see, particularly Rogers Middle School, there was a huge growth of children who had the opportunity to reclassify. You can see at the end that for the district, those you can see the growth, that the growth in our reclassification percentage was better. And finally, this data is also from October the 7th of this year, and this describes that who are the English learners, and they are divided in different groups. So for instance, the first column, these are children who are English learner younger than 3 years of age, because we believe that kids um, learn a new language in 4 to 7 years. So we as humans need a time to learn a new language. In the third column, you can see LTEL, that means long-term English learners. So those kids who have not been reclassified after 6 years get this nomination, LTEL, this label, in other words. And this basically means that we need to provide them with more support so that they can reclassify. Usually this happens at the middle school level. As you can see, there's nothing in the elementary schools, but they do exist in the middle school because the majority or the major part, the majority of our students start in kinder. And again, 6 years later, they go to middle school, right? And because LTL classification is only after 6 years of studying and not being reclassified, then this label is not applied until middle school. But our goal is that little by little, more and more students are reclassified during elementary school. And so that's why we want to provide a lot more support and a lot more strategies to reclassified students at the elementary school before they get to the middle school. So the second column group, we classify students as at risk of becoming LTEL because they are getting to their 6th year of school. And so we want to provide intervention for those who might not be just ready to reclassify. As you can see, you also see those who have reclassified. And the last column, there is a classification called EVER-EL. So this group is every child who is now, or at some point was an English learner. These are the totals. And why do we want to see these totals? Because we want to see how each group is progressing. We know that the children who have been reclassified are those who are working at much higher levels than those who are English speakers. Those who speak two languages and can read, write, and speak two languages normally work at a much higher than monolingual speakers. So again, we can do a count, and we want to count all the students who did learn a second language, who did become reclassified into as English speakers after being English learners. And again, we need to change the students at the third column. We want to change these numbers. We don't want to see 50 students with the label LTEL. We want this to be less and less and less each year. And that's the job that we're trying to do. Again, we want to see less students getting to middle school, not being reclassified. And I think that's all the data that I have to share with you. But if there are any questions at the chat, is there something that I could explain much better? I don't see any questions in the chat, but I'm not sure if any parents might have any questions regarding the information that you just presented. The next assessment was going to happen in February? Yes. Yes, the summary evaluation. We've been telling everyone that this is in February, that this will be beginning in February. Thank you. You're welcome.
Hay una pregunta, Miss Julie, de Rebecca.
Miss Julie, we have a question from Rebecca. Rebecca, would you like to ask your question on the microphone?
Sure. Have you identified what contributed to the huge bump in math achievement by our English learners in those 2 years that there were big bumps, especially compared to the state? That's the chart.
I'm not sure if I'm supposed to translate that back or Jose did it.
It's a different chart.
Yes.
Not this
a different chart.
No, las diferentes gracias.
That one.
Well, this is language arts, and this one is math.
Okay, my mistake then. The other one, there were 2 huge bumps there in Lawndale.
Mm-hmm.
What happened? How did we make such gains those 2 years between the 14-15 year and 15-16 year, and then between the 17-18 and the 18-19 year? What did we do differently in our district?
But you're saying in English and in math?
No, this is the chart that specifically jumped out at me as huge changes that were so different than what was going on in the county and state. What happened here?
Pues yo puedo compartir mis ideas y si alguien más que quiere compartir, y estoy mirando a Cherise, si alguien que está en nuestro
I can share my ideas, and there's Cherise Jones here that might want to share what they think might have happened. So a couple of things changed. Let's begin with the new curriculum. That was the first change, which was the benchmark in language arts, and also the math curriculum, and also the English development for the English learner students. All of these happened at the same time. So that change, I believe, contributed to a lot of that progress. But Cherise Jones, do you have any idea as to why? Yes, the other part that I'd like to share is the change between the blue bar and the red bar between 2014, 2015, and 2015-16. And so this difference, this is a difference between 1 year of experience with this new testing format. This year in 2014, I had 3rd grade. I was teaching 3rd grade, and I was one of the teachers who administered that exam for the first time this year. And as a teacher, and as teachers, we were still beginning to learn the new standards, the new California standards. And we were also beginning to learn for the first time how this test was administered and what it would look like. So once we understood the expectations much better, we can then implement the changes so that we could better prepare our students and so they can reflect this improvement. And as Julie mentioned also, the change between 2017 and 2018, I believe, is related to the changing curriculum that we implemented in English language arts and also English and math. Before then, we were using curricular material that were aligned to the old California standards, the old standards. Now, at that moment, actually, we implemented changes. We changed to a curriculum that was more aligned to the new standards, the new testing standards for the California core.
¿Contestó tu pregunta, Rebeca?
Rebecca, did that answer your question?
Sí, gracias.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, Mylet, son todas las preguntas.
Okay. Mylet, are all those questions, all the questions you have, are you ready for your part, Mylet?
Okay.
Muy bien.
Pues quiere que yo hable de
So do you want me to talk about the testing, the LPAC testing? So again, these are pictures. We'll begin for the first time the initial LPAC for our new students, our new arrivals, whose families chose to take the test in person rather than on Zoom. So today we began doing this testing at Anderson with 4 of the Elac. We'll be administering this test for 28 children, I think. And for those little ones who are doing their testing for the first time, well, it has been quite a successful day. Children came in without crying, the majority of them, with all of us wearing our face masks and the shields in front of our faces. And they all took it well, and the kids did their best effort. It was a good day, and in fact, it's still going on, and I'll be going back to that testing after this meeting so that we can finish up that testing. And finally, we will be done with the initial for those who are new students in our school. And then, as Carmen mentioned, we'll begin in February with the summative, which is, again, the change for all the English learners. But we did have the exam with all of the the safety protocols. All the testing was done implementing all the safety protocols that we share with you, that the district as a whole is implementing. Again, as you can see, with wearing the face mask, the face shields, the safe distance, and with the exams outside of the classroom. And we were all trying to be extremely safe. And hopefully this is an example as to how we can handle these exams or this testing in the future as soon as we're ready to bring some of the kids back in for testing. Likewise, in terms of the LESD, Safe, Clean, and Ready, you can go to our website and look at it, at everything that is being done in terms of the safety protocols and how we're implementing them. And at this moment, in fact, right now that we're doing the exams, the only area where the kids can come in to the school is for January. I'm sorry. Okay, excuse me, sorry about that. So in January, we are getting ready to receive the kids in January to come back to school. As you can see, each day we're receiving different news, and changes are happening very rapidly across the state as well as across the county. And we'll try to see when we're ready to move on to this safe, clean, and ready mode. But we're ready, and today was a very good day. Again, this is the test, the order in which we can bring our children back for testing. And we're still testing the first group. So we're still in the same first number 1. There are so many number 1s. They're all number 1s. So again, we are doing this special education children and testing also the English learners. And then in January, we'll start with the SDC cohorts. And then we'll start preparing for the small groups for those who are English learners who need much more help. And then finally, we might begin the small groups of TK and kinder to first and second grade, the ones with waivers. But we have to, all of these has to be done following the county guidelines. And now I want to share my microphone with Mylet. Thank you, Miss Julie. And again, in just a few moments, we will talk about the safety measures and what Dr. Julie presented to us in the different other meetings that we've had. So now let's move on to the ELAC meetings and our report. So we've had the opportunity of participating, and when I say us, I'm referring to Carmen, myself, we had the opportunity to participate in schools where our children go, not only those schools, but also other schools across the district that have to do with ELAC or the ELAC meetings. So we had suggested, oh, excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm looking for the Adams video. I wanted to share that video with you. These are some of the parents who are leaders at different school sites. And so again, I give a big old hand to the people at Adams who are the first ones to create a video. These are the parents who led that school. And we also have Billy Mitchell parents and the Anderson parents who are also leaders. But we're inviting those of you who are joining us today, if you can share with us, maybe Ms. Cherise can share with us on the next meeting with the Mark Twain School, which I imagine must be a lot of parents. Again, I'm talking about all the different activities that these parents have led or initiated. So Ms. Julie, if you could, please, if you can share that video that they filmed, that they produced for Adams Middle School. Good morning. My name, I'm sorry, I can't hear. And I work with all the students, English learner students. Hello, my name is Jennifer Marquez, and I'm the community liaison for Adams Middle School. Jelisa Gutierrez. And I'm the mother of an English learner girl at Adams Middle School, and I'm happy to participate in the ELAC meeting. Miss Ochoa, mother of a sixth grade student, English learner at Adams Middle School. ELAC meetings are important because parents of English learners can learn about resources and the process for reclassification for each student. And we also look at the different resources, and we also develop resources to help the students. Again, ELAC does advise the school site council as to how to use funds to better support our English learners. I'm the mother of an English learner, and I invite all the parents to come to our meetings, which is only once Wednesday of every month from 10 to 12 through Zoom. Our next meeting will be November the 18th, and we hope you can join us. We hope to see you soon. If you need further information as to how to connect with us, please get in touch with me. Thank you. Thank you. That was a great job. Thank you so much. And this speaks volumes as to how, and I imagine that several of your schools, Ms. Cherise, again, talking about Mark Twain, and again, all the other schools, I'm sure there are plenty of parents who are involved. And again, I go back to that whole concept of becoming involved, because if we become involved, we can take advantage of all these tools that the district has to offer for us to better support our children in order so that they can reclassify and they can learn the English language much faster, which is, again, the main purpose for us being here. We want our kids to eventually reclassify so they can achieve an academic English, the level which will allow them to go to college. So Ms. Julie, if we can go to the next one, please. Again, this is a summary of some of the meetings, ELAC meetings, and some of the things that were mentioned at the different meetings. Kame, would you like to to present this part?
Ok, buenas tardes.
Of course, good
Algunas de
afternoon.
las cosas que se
Some of the
presentaron
things
a
that were
nivel general,
presented in
lo que
general,
son las
at a
responsabilidades
general
y los
level, we
estatutos que
talked
rigen el
about the
comité
different
de DELAC.
responsibilities in the
Se
status
presentaron
or
los
the,
líderes del
excuse me, the
comité
rules that
y otro
run
asunto en
the
común
ELAC. We
fue de
also
cómo
presented or
concientizar
introduced
a
the
los
committee
padres de
leaders,
la
and
importancia de
also we
asistir
talked about other common
regularmente a la
issues
escuela,
and how
inclusive
to become
durante el
aware
aprendizaje a distancia.
of, or how
Ah,
make parents
Es
aware of
muy
the importance
importante
of
porque no
being
solo
committed
es
and
que
coming
no
to
están yendo a
school
la escuela,
regularly,
pero
the students. It's not
hemos
just
sabido
important for them to come to school, but
estudiantes
okay, I'm sorry, I'm losing
y
her. I
creen
can't hear very
que
well.
asistir a la escuela a través de Zoom no le han dado la importancia. No
Okay,
han
I think that the
asistido
reason,
algunos
the fact that
a
kids are
clases
going to
y
school
es
through
muy
Zoom
importante.
has caused that they
Todo
don't
pasamos
give
clases
school
ahora
its due importance.
y tenemos
I
que
think that
acoplarnos
has
a
caused
estas
a
medidas de hoy.
loss
La
in
escuela es
learning.
ahora
And
a
again,
través de
school
Zoom
is now
y
being done
pues
through Zoom, distance learning.
los
And
invitamos a que si
so we
conocen a
invite
alguien o a alguien que sabe,
all
los
of you,
niños
if you know
que
of
creen que esto
anyone,
no es
any
la
child
escuela,
who
el
doesn't see
Zoom,
this as
estar
a
en Zoom
school, being on Zoom, don't
es muy
really think
importante
that
y
that's
esa es la
going to
escuela de
school.
ahora.
It's important that we
Los
let them know
invitamos
that
a que
this is
asistan y
today's
que
school. And we invite
pues
you
informen a otros padres que esta es la nueva
inform
escuela
the
por
parents,
ahora.
and you yourself become informed, and let kids know and make it so clear that this is actually school.
Otras de las preguntas que surgieron.
Some of the other questions that came up, and I think that Ms. Julie, you can help me with this one as well. I think that in some meetings we talked about protected time for ELD students. Do you want me to provide the answer? Yes, of course. So protected time means that every child who is an English learner should receive a English development class. That is to say that throughout the day, they'll take their regular classes, the math or English language art or science class, but they also have the right to have a class that's specifically designed to help them understand how English works. Again, in science, I learned, for instance, how machines work or how the environment changes during rainy seasons, for instance. So these are things that are part of the school of that particular subject. But in the English development class, I learned the forms that language takes and how I use this as a scientist to describe what is going on in my environment and how that particular machine works. Again, this is the language that a scientist might use, or the language that a mathematician might use. What are the phrases that we use within the English language? What is the vocabulary? What is the most common or easiest for someone who has spent their entire life speaking English in comparison to someone who's actually spoken a different language and are now learning English? There are many things that are common to multiple languages, but we need to help children understand what are those common threads or common themes that we can utilize to better understand a language we're trying to learn. And what are the differences in between languages? What is particular to English and what is not? So that the child who's utilizing English as a second language, they can better utilize it in, for instance, his math class or his science class. Thank you, Ms. Julie. And I think that some of these questions we might be better off just answering in the January meeting so that we can give you time, enough time to, so that you can maybe research answers to some of these questions. So the other question was if there are specific minutes that are reserved for English learners so that they can get that support in language support that they might need. The other question asks if you could talk about the reclassification parameters during distance learning. They also ask or request or ask if we're going to have a guest who will talk about special education so that she can explain to us what are the differences in terms of reclassification with students who have an IEP and those who do not. Another question that was brought up is if you took into consideration how to medically support the students who speak English only, or those who have reclassified and are taking their classes, who already approved their summative testing. If you will supply the time that was taken from them from their general education classes in order to provide the support when they were English learners. They also ask the following question. They ask if there is a possibility that the schools provide language support after regular school hours, after 11:30, I guess. So these are questions that perhaps you could maybe research and maybe answer for us in our following meeting. And I think we have in our agenda, right? We have to develop our agenda. I think that does make up our agenda for the next meeting. Okay, well then, next then I only have some dates, and I apologize. I didn't have time to check each website for the different schools, and I do apologize for that, but there are but if there is anyone from these schools who have some information about these schools and these meetings, if they can let us know, when are the next local meetings, ELAC meetings? Uh, so I know, for instance, tomorrow, Anderson, Billy Mitchell will be January the 13th, I think. And Rogers already had the meeting.
Rogers va a tener la que sigue el 16 de, el 12
Rogers
de enero,
will have their
perdón,
meeting January the 12th,
a las
our following
7:45
meeting
de la mañana.
at 7:45 a.m. Thank you. And for those of you who are here, I'm not sure if any parent could participate at these ELAC meetings if they didn't have the opportunity to participate at their local schools. Can they participate from the meetings of the meetings at other schools? Could, again, the question is if parents who didn't get a chance to participate in their own school's ELAC meeting, can they participate at other schools' meetings?
Se fue a otra junta, lo siento.
I'm looking for Miss Sherry's, but I think she left to another meeting. That's okay. We can ask her on a follow-up meeting or a next meeting. So if you'd like, Anderson's meeting is tomorrow. And Kame, what other?
No, yo dije de Rogers, pero hasta el día
No, I was talking about
12 de
Rogers,
enero.
but that'll happen on January the 12th. Okay. So let's continue on with our meeting. I want to, again, take some of your time to do some summaries of other things that happened this month. One of those things, we had our town hall meeting, and we had Dr. Hamilton and other people who presented the safety measures that we are implementing now. And they also talk about the possibility of applying these safety measures to bring kids in different or small cohorts at different times back to school. The other meeting that happened during the month was DPAC. And then the other one was the board meeting. Again, we invite all of you to participate. You can find out about so many issues that are happening within our district. And not just the things that are happening at your local schools. Remember that all the schools are part of a larger community, and it's good to be informed of what's going on at the larger community. Again, all of these meetings are presented in both languages. I think we do have interpreting or translation during these events. So most commonly, we are trying to provide interpreting at all the meetings, if possible. And I go back to DPAC. So I wanted to congratulate you. And I'm not sure if some of you are here today, but again, I invite you to participate. In this occasion, DPAC did have a presentation as to how to help our children with math classes or their math learning. And they talked about the fact that language is not only important for the language itself, but also the mathematic language. And Rebecca, thank you so much for presenting all these tools as to how to support our children, English learners in the mathematical language. And again, just to show you some of the contact information in case you have any particular questions regarding your particular students. These are the specialists in language, and here are some of the names. And lastly, I would like to once again emphasize for you to know your community liaisons, which are the resources that you have to ask questions. If you have any doubts, if you want to find out and be informed as to what's going on at your school level, any events, any workshops at the school district level as well. There are several of them here at our meeting, but here you can see them here also. Miss Gaby Gonzalez, Miss Sandra, Miss Jennifer, Miss Mitchell, Miss Evelyn Duarte, also from Mitchell, and many parents from Mitchell. Thank you so much for being here today, actually. Grisel from FDR also. And again, these are the people who can help you. Jocelyn and Miss Sarai Cuevas. These are the people you can get in touch with if you need any help, any kind of support. These are the people, the person, the key person that can help you. And again, we're just trying to connect you with the right person in case you have any particular question or any particular need. And I think that we are coming to the end. And then for January, we have these questions that came up at the local Elac meetings. And we just wanted to say that in our next meeting, we'll have, thank you, Sonia, that for the next meeting, we'll have the, what's your title, Ms. Julie? What is the title of the person that will be here? Ms. Julie, your microphone's off. Hear you.
Lo siento.
So sorry. My phone was ringing, my door was being knocked on and all that, so I turned off the microphone. Sharon Ashland, our special education director, that's who it will be our guest for our following meeting, so that you can join us. Something else that I think I should mention is that we're going to create a Google form so that in case you have any questions or any doubts or any suggestion for our next meeting, you can go ahead and write it down and send it to us. And then we can prepare your request and maybe have an answer for you in January. If it's a question or if it's a suggestion, we can also let you know. And as you can see, there is lots of information here. The next ELAC meeting, Twain, is January the 14th. Perhaps we should come up with some sort of publication where we can give you all this information, all this data. And lastly, just to thank you for participating today. And we're inviting you to our meetings in January. We have some of these meetings here. The DPAC, January the 7th. That's on a Thursday. Yep, that's it. And that's about it, I think. Our meeting, I didn't see the date for our meeting. Our next meeting is, I think it's the last, yes. Our next meeting will be January the 25th. Again, first the DPAC meeting, and then we're holding our meeting towards the end of the month. So again, once we are very grateful for joining us. I'm not sure if anyone has any burning question, anything before we say goodbye. Basically, I just wanted to remind Ms. Julie to please take into account what tools or resources you will be presenting for us so that we can assist our children in this distance learning. And again, all these things that we've been talking about today, how to help, what resources has the district prepared or the school at the local level has ready to give us to assist our English learners through this distance learning is basically the recommendation for Ms. Julie. Thank you, Carmen, and thank you to all the parents for being here with us. You're simply, by the fact that you're participating in these meetings, you have become a leader. And we are here to hear your voice. We as parents are the voice that speaks to the rest of the district staff so that the district knows how to support us so that we in turn can help our children be successful in their schooling. Ms. Julie? That is it for me. Thank you everyone for your questions and for being here. And thank you for setting the agenda for the following meeting in January. I already have my homework to do, my tasks to develop, and thank you so much for that. And I hope that everyone has a happy end of year, a healthy and safe end of year, and that we can come back in 2021 to a better year.